If the Meg is still out there today, where could it be hiding? The lack of any
So I've made shorter videos before about why the Megalodon is almost definitely not still around, but let's talk a bit more in depth about it. So as stated in this video, Megalodons historically preferred warmer tropical and subtropical climates, very much not the bottom of the ocean. So for arguments against the Mariana Trench, so for starters, it is very, very cold. It is way too cold for the Megalodon. Second, they are way, way too big to survive down there. There is not enough food for them for it to be viable at all. So the Mariana Trench is around 35,000 feet. That is very deep. In this video, it mentions giant squid as being a potential food source for the Megalodon. However, giant squid only live at a depth of about 1,000 to 2,000 feet, which is, in the grand scheme, very close to the top of the Mariana Trench. The sperm whale, the deepest diving whale, is well known for preying on giant squid. The max depth is just under 4,000 feet. So even sperm whales don't go that deep. So if the Megalodon did live at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, as this video is stating, then there would be nothing for it to eat. Additionally, since Megalodon are active hunters, at the bottom there is absolutely no light down there unless it's produced by bioluminescent organisms, and sharks do not have bioluminescence, so it would not be able to see, and because it does not have eyes adapted for that, it has eyes adapted for shallow tropical waters. Hold on, there's a cold bug. Let's take a cold bug break. This is a longhorn beetle. Some of them are invasive here, some of them are native. I'm not sure which one this is, and I don't want to kill a native species, so I'm going to leave it alone. But, yeah, that's a big bug. Look at those jaws. They don't bite often, but that would be a pretty nasty pinch if it did. So anyway, back to the sharks. Additionally, there is quite a lot of pressure in the Mariana Trench, and that much pressure is very unfriendly to bones. So sharks don't technically have bones, but they do have cartilaginous skeletons, which function similarly enough that the pressure is very unfriendly to them. The deepest known vertebrate is the Mariana snailfish, the deepest one being observed at about 27,000 feet, which is very deep, but also snailfish are a lot smaller and overall a lot squishier than megalodons, so they would be a lot better adapted to the ridiculous pressure. But you say, well, maybe the Megalodon adapted. Maybe it got smaller and more squishy. Maybe it adapted to the cold. Maybe it adapted to the pressure. But then that would no longer be the Megalodon. It would have evolved into an entirely new species. Even if there was a Megalodon descendant that was perfectly adapted to living in the Mariana Trench, it would no longer be the Megalodon then. Just the same as birds are technically dinosaurs, but so far removed. Like, yes, technically it could be a Megalodon, but it would be the bird of the Megalodon, if that makes sense. Finally, in my opinion, the best argument for the lack of Megalodon existence is the existence of modern whales. So whales, overall in the grand scheme, are very, very large and very, very slow. Yes, there can be smaller, faster whales, but overall, think like blue whale, humpback, etc. Historical ancestral whales that would have lived in the same time as the Megalodon would not be like they are now. They were a lot smaller, they were a lot faster, and if they were predatory like Leviathan whales, they would be a lot more aggressive. These whales are, like modern whales, are very big, very slow. So they would be super easy prey for a megalodon. So if megalodons still existed like they were, modern whales wouldn't have evolved because they would be such easy prey. There would have been immense selective pressures against them evolving to be so big and so slow. Additionally, if there were megalodons, you would see evidence of predation on the whales. There would be whales with massive injuries, way more common than those one-off, what happened to this whale, it must be a megalodon. No, there would be a lot more evidence on the whales, even if you don't see the whales themselves. Like, for example, with the giant squid, there was evidence of something, like, eating stuff, like whales, like sperm whales with, like, sucker marks on them, even though there wasn't evidence of the giant squid. I mean, no, there was evidence. Even if you didn't see the giant squid themselves, there was still evidence of them. However, there is pretty much no evidence of the megalodon at that scale. So, since whales have evolved to be how they are, that means there is no selective pressures from a massive apex predator such as the megalodon to stop them from evolving into being very big and very slow. Because if there was a super predator such as the megalodon, then they would have stayed small and they would have stayed fast in order to, one, if they're predatory, not be outcompeted by the megalodon, and two, if they're not predatory, not to be eaten by the megalodon. So, yeah, megalodons aren't around anymore. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.